wind at 5 to 15. Forecast tonight, low temperature 32 and mainly clear. Tomorrow, the wind picks up out of the south at 20.
Hey, good morning and welcome to the Greg Belfrage Show. It is Veterans Day. So remember all of those who are serving or have served. And let's get after it.
Interesting news talk station with the power of information all day, all night. Kello News Talk 1320, 107.9. The Doctor of Discernment is on the air.
I love the Greg Belfrage Show.
I've been listening to you for years, Greg. Thanks for all you do and keeping us informed.
You sound a little taller on radio.
Dispensing a daily dose of common sense. No prescription required.
Americans love a winner and will not tolerate a loser. Americans play to win all the time. I don't believe in the no-win scenario.
This is the Greg Belfrage Show.
Good morning, my friend. The marketplace of ideas is open. It's great to be with you this Monday, November 11th. Of course, today is Veterans Day. It's the day we honor those who have served, as well as those who died in service to the country. And so it is nearly all of the states. I think Wisconsin is the only state that has not recognized Veterans Day. Recognized, it's a federal holiday, recognized in many, many states. So it means that federal offices will be closed today, and among other things. So it's great to be with you this morning. Thanks for choosing the Greg Belfrage Show. All right, let's look at the big stories this morning. Donald Trump is already naming folks. He has, according to reports, he has offered Representative Elise Stefanik the role of ambassador to the United Nations. And so Stefanik is from New York. She is the fourth ranking House Republican. She's been a big ally of Donald Trump's. So he made that announcement, and you're hearing a lot of that this morning. You just heard this from Fox News Radio. Also, Donald Trump on True Social said, "I'm pleased to announce that the former ICE director and stalwart on border control, Tom Homan, will be joining the Trump administration in charge of our nation's borders. The borders are, including but not limited to, the southern border, the northern border, all maritime and aviation security." And then Trump went on to say, "I've known Tom for a long time. There is nobody better at policing and controlling our borders. Likewise, Tom Homan will be in charge of all deportation of illegal aliens back to their country of origin. Congratulations to Tom. I have no doubt he will do a fantastic and long-awaited for job." So Donald Trump posting this last evening on True Social. He also posted last night, he said, "Thank you, God, won all swing states and the popular vote by almost 7 million voters. Got 312 electoral votes in the great state of Texas, won 31 of 32 statewide judicial benches, and every county in the Rio Grande Valley. They were all blue 8 years ago, and got 1 million more Texas votes than in 2020. So Trump giving thanks and making those announcements. Also, there are reports that Donald Trump spoke with Russian President Vladimir Putin. And this is the, what was said, we don't know. They spoke, the Washington Post reported on this. And Donald Trump also spoke with Ukrainian President Zelensky on Wednesday. And Trump has promised that he would end the war quickly. And so Trump's communications director said, "We do not comment on private calls between President Trump and other world leaders." And so they really didn't offer anything, but Donald Trump has spoken to Vladimir Putin. Meanwhile, over in the Biden administration, Jake Sullivan, who's the national security advisor, said yesterday that the president's top message, excuse me, that the president's top message will be his commitment to ensure a peaceful transition of power, and that he will talk to Trump about what's happening in Europe, Asia, and the Middle East. In fact, the two of them meet coming up on Wednesday. So the president extended the invitation to Trump. So they will be meeting Wednesday at 10 a.m. Central, according to a statement from the White House. The president last week said he assured Trump that I would direct my entire administration to work with his team to ensure a peaceful and orderly transition. That's what the American people deserve. So that meeting will be coming up on Wednesday. Also, Donald Trump on Truth Social made a comment the other day. He said, any Republican senator seeking the coveted leadership position in the U.S. Senate must agree to recess appointments in the Senate, he said, without which we will not be able to get people confirmed in a timely manner. Sometimes the votes can take 2 years or more. This is what they did 4 years ago. We cannot let it happen again. We need positions filled immediately. Additionally, no judges should be approved during this period of time because the Democrats are looking to ram through their judges as the Republicans fight over leadership. This is not acceptable, Trump said on Truth Social. So he is pushing for these recess appointments. Which would be, as we've talked about this, the job ahead of Donald Trump, I think, is just huge. And here we've got Trump trying to get out in front of some of these issues already. So saying he should be able to, whoever wants to take the leadership of a position has got to agree to recess appointments. Also, Senate majority, there has been some issue regarding Senator-elect Dave McCormick of Pennsylvania, because Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer not allowing McCormick then to attend Senate orientation this week. And what they're saying is, well, not all the votes are in yet. All the votes are not in yet. Therefore, be not allowed until the vote is actually done. So McCormick is coming to Washington today anyway to attend these Senate orientation sessions. And he literally is daring then Chuck Schumer to tell him that he cannot attend. So Schumer has not invited McCormick to attend. He's coming anyway. I love this. I absolutely love this. So you've got Senator Bob Casey, who has refused to concede defeat in that case. But McCormick is clearly the winner. And so he's showing up. This brought a response from Senator John Thune, who said Dave McCormick is the new senator for Pennsylvania. The idea that Schumer would not allow him to participate in Senate orientation is beyond acceptable. I agree, but there are a host of things that are going on right now with Democrats that are just really unacceptable. And it's just absolutely incredible. The reaction to the election just continues. And more on that in a moment. Also, and this is what I was just mentioning, you had Jamal Simmons, who was the former communications director for Kamala Harris, on CNN State of the Union yesterday, saying that President Joe Biden should resign the presidency, which would allow Kamala Harris to replace him and then to be sworn in as the first woman president. So Joe Biden should resign and give it to Kamala Harris, even following her election defeat. And so Simmons said on CNN yesterday, Joe Biden has been a phenomenal president. Really? He's been a phenomenal president? Are you serious? Oh, wow. That's not what the country just said. I mean, it's wow. He's lived up to so many promises he's made. There's one promise left that he can fulfill, being a transitional figure. He could resign the presidency in the next 30 days, making Kamala Harris the United States president. He would absolve her from having to oversee the January 6th transition of her own defeat. And it would make sure that it would dominate the news at a point where Democrats have to learn drama and transparency and doing things that the public want to see. This is the moment for us to change the entire perspective of how Democrats operate. What is this? Dana Bash responded to this. She said, this is now on social media. Or excuse me, I think she would, the host, she said, this now jumped from an internet meme to a Sunday morning show. This is absolutely crazy. And believe me, this is the least of the crazy things that we're seeing in reaction to this. Also, now we're learning that Kamala Harris was paying a lot of money for these endorsements. And in fact, some of the interviews that she did, she paid Oprah Winfrey $1 million. Just one example of the millions that the campaign spent on these endorsements and whatnot. So the Harris campaign paid $1 million to Oprah Winfrey's company back on October 15th. And the campaign also spent big on that Call Her Daddy podcast that Kamala Harris did recently, which was just a total train wreck. The Call Her Daddy podcast, she also paid for that. Wow. Meanwhile, George Clooney says he's being blamed by some because Kamala Harris lost to Donald Trump. And remember now, it was the editorial by George Clooney that was out there. And what he called for was Joe Biden to, not to run for re-election. And that was really what kind of was kicked off a lot of the, following that just horrendous debate performance that Joe Biden had with Donald Trump. That alone was bad enough. And then you had George Clooney saying, the president should step aside, so on. And according to, this is an anonymous source who talked to the Daily Mail, said George feels that the backlash he is getting for Kamala losing is not at all warranted. He thinks it's completely unfair to try and make him a scapegoat for her loss. Well, of course it is. Of course it's unfair. It's absolutely incredible. And then there's a story this is from the New York Post, that a number of women who were just furious about Donald Trump's victory have gone online. This is some grisly stuff. And it shows you where so much left is at, and the hatred that they just spew at everyone. So women online are filming murder fantasy videos in which they romanticize lacing men's beverages with poison, as if that's somehow justified. But they're concerned about abortion rights under a second Donald Trump presidency. Say it again, Donald Trump has made it very, very clear. We're just going to leave it to the states. We're going to leave it to the states to decide. So they are doing videos called Make Aqua Tofana Great Again, which is a nod to an ancient killer, Tofana, who had been adopted as the group's heroine. And they're out there. I mean, wow. I mean, this is just, as odd as things and troubling as so many things are in the country right now, you think it couldn't get any worse. It gets worse. It just keeps getting worse. Absolutely crazy. Then there's a piece this morning regarding, this was a host on CNN, Fareed Zakaria, who did an extended monologue over the weekend. This was like 7 minutes long. Now on CNN, to do a 7-minute long monologue. So he's on CNN and was talking about Donald Trump's victory. And he really went after Democrats, rebuking the Democrats, saying they're out of touch with voters. They blew it. He said, at first glance, it would seem easy to explain last Tuesday's election as part of a 2024 global wave against incumbents, but he said he said employment is strong, wages are up, inflation is down, activity is soaring. More importantly, Donald Trump has many strengths as a political figure, but he also has many weaknesses, he said. Then he said Democrats had an opportunity to reclaim political power from Trump, but they blew it, he said. And then he started to go through where he thinks they blew it. The first big error was the Biden administration's blindness to the collapse of the immigration system and the chaos at the border. An asylum system, he starts talking about asylum here and saying that how the Biden administration missed a massive shift in American public opinion in just a few years. He said, and this is a great example. In 2020, the percentage of Americans who wanted to decrease immigration was just 28%. By this year, it was 55%. So you got Americans who are saying, we want to decrease immigration. And at the beginning of Joe Biden's term, it was just 28%. Now it's 55%. You can't blame Republicans for that. And he goes on. As I would expect, as a host of CNN, some of the charges brought against Trump were legitimate, and then he got into those. But he said the second error Democrats made was their overzealous misuse of law to punish Trump. Their third mistake, he said, was the party's fixation on identity politics. Yeah. So even on CNN, they're, they're at least clearer than some of the, just a lot of, listen, I understand that people would be disappointed. Big major election. You got folks who were disappointed. But the reaction from so many is just like, I mean, I think we've all been through elections and lost elections, and I think it's because it was the Democrats who were out there scaring people, doing it daily, and it got worse as we got closer to the election. Calls of Donald Trump being a fascist, all of those sorts of things. And now I have a bit of a problem. The Biden administration, a peaceful transition to government, and wow, just absolutely incredible. Give an example of some of the zaniness out there. An employee from FEMA has been fired after advising their disaster relief team to avoid homes with signs endorsing Trump. So if you had a Trump sign in your yard, this FEMA employee was telling the team to skip those houses. If they got Trump signs, just skip over them. And so now the administrator of FEMA, Deanne Criswell, said the actions of the employee were reprehensible and they have been terminated from their role. She posted this on X. The more than 22,000 FEMA employees every day adhere to FEMA's core values, dedicated to helping people, which a lot of folks in FEMA are. This is not, I'm not dismissive of the entire federal agency, but it's this kind of poison that is just really infiltrated every walk of life. And that's a look at the big stories this morning. All right, 628, partly cloudy and 36. This hour of the Greg Belfrage Show brought to you by the Window Shop of Mitchell, offering custom windows starting at $99 a month.
Camping Robbins, weekdays at 2. Kello, News Talk 1320, 107.9.
The Kello Hotline is brought to you by Tires. See in-store details on how to get rebates from major tire manufacturers. 2 Sioux Falls locations to serve you.
Leaves are falling.
So much absolute craziness out there.
Wet, heavy snow with ABC
It's
Seamless.
wild.
Voted local best 20 years in a row. They like the things Sioux
Oh,
Falls.
okay.
Call today. ABC Seamless.
Grain Insight is an algorithm-based managed bushel service to help farmers level the playing field. Grain Insight was designed at managing risk to take the emotion out of grain marketing. Text GRAIN at 605-291-1020 for more information. Grading features and options involve substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors or producers.
Whether it's on the job, on the field, on an errand, or at home, accidents can happen anywhere. If you suffer a break, sprain, or any other orthopedic injury, trust the experienced orthopedic team at Avera Orthopedics Urgent Care to keep you moving. Be seen immediately inside the Avera Specialty Hospital at 69th and Louise. No appointment necessary. Learn more about Avera's Orthopedic Urgent Care at avera.org/orthopedic urgent care.
You think our country's going in the right direction, or does it feel like everything's falling apart? We're a bit concerned. We're not alone. In fact, Americans from all walks of life have taken action to prepare for whatever's coming next. And that starts with having an emergency food supply. Storing food in your home is the right thing to do because we're living in crazy times, which explains why so many people are preparing. Right now, you can get ready too with a 3-month emergency food kit from My Patriot Supply. It comes with delicious foods like creamy stroganoff, honey wheat bread, and mushroom rice pilaf, all offering over 2,000 calories every day. Their food kit lasts up to 25 years.
Screwed up my timing right out of the gate this morning.
But when that day comes, you'll be ready. Go to mypatriotsupply.com now to order your 3-month emergency food kit from My Patriot Supply. Go to mypatriotsupply.com right now.
Partly cloudy skies on this Veterans Day. Our high temperature at 48. Northeast winds at 5 to 15. Tonight, mainly clear skies, a low at 32, with a southeast wind strengthening. Tomorrow, south winds 20 to 35, with a high of 52, and areas of showers.
News brought to you by Sioux Falls Implant
There
and
we go.
Specialty Dentistry. They fix your teeth
That'll
while
square
you
us away. All right.
News time 6:31. I'm Joe Bowman in the Kello.com News Center. After multiple military sources confirmed North Korean soldiers have joined with Russia in the war against Ukraine, Congressman Dusty Johnson said Russia must be getting desperate.
You're turning toward North Korea for military help. I think that shows that Russia has been frustrated that this war continues for them and that they haven't been able to conquer Ukraine.
Approximately 40,000 Russian troops, along with as many as 10,000 North Korean troops, are preparing to launch a new counteroffensive to push Ukrainian forces out of Russia's western Kursk region. Bad news for South Dakota Senator John Thune in his bid to be Senate Majority Leader. Tech billionaire Elon Musk and Senator Marco Rubio announced yesterday they're backing Florida Senator Rick Scott for GOP leader. Texas Senator John Cornyn is also running for the top seat. Senate Republicans will hold the election for the party's new leader this Wednesday. This year's pheasant hunting season is going well so far. Here's Wildlife Division Director Tom Krishenman with details.
Things were going very good, and there was a high hunter satisfaction in places where we would consider pheasant hunting areas in western South Dakota. Folks did extremely well. They were finding good bird numbers. They were excited.
Some landowners are reporting to officials they're seeing 2 to 3 times more birds this year than in previous years. Hundreds of national parks across the U.S. will have free entry today in celebration of Veterans Day. This will be the final opportunity of this year to explore America's national parks with free admission. Although entrance fees are waived, some parks may still require advance reservations. In sports over the weekend, the Minnesota Vikings smacked the Jacksonville Jaguars 12-7. The Jackrabbits blitzed North Dakota 38-7, while the Coyotes shut out Indiana State 49-0. And the Sioux Falls Skyforce lost to the Iowa Wolves 118-121 in overtime. From the Kello.com News Center, I'm Joe Bowman.
The news never stops. Kello News Talk 1320 107.9. Weather brought to you by Intech Cleaning and Restoration. If you need it clean, call the Intech team. IntechClean.com.
Partly cloudy skies today for the Sioux Falls area. Our high temperature 48 with a northeast wind at 5 to 15. Forecast tonight, low temperature 32 and mainly clear. Tomorrow, the wind picks up out of the south at 20 to 35. High temperature at 52 in the afternoon. Rain likely on Wednesday. From the Storm Center at Kettleland TV, I'm meteorologist Brian Karstens.
Your source for the latest news all day, every day. Wake up with us and check back all day long. Kello News Talk 1320 107.9.
If you've ever wondered what happens to the massive amounts of military data China's spies steal from the United States, look no further than its newest jet fighter aircraft, a nearly identical design to America's new F-35 stealth fighter used by the U.S. Air Force, Navy, and Marine Corps. I'm Kim Commando for T-Mobile. Their advanced network now goes farther than ever before. Visit T-Mobile.com/55. America spent more than 20 years and $2 trillion to produce our new F-35 jet fighter. China took less than 5 years to duplicate it, using hundreds of terabytes of stolen military secrets. We've all grown somewhat immune to China's spying, but China's ill-gotten gains were rolled out for everyone to see at China's International Aviation and Aerospace Exhibition. To add insult to injury, China calls its stolen F-35 the J-35, and there's a good chance that someday they'll be using our tech against us. Sign up for my free newsletter at getkim.com. Hey friends, Kim here. You know, it seems the older you get, the savvier you become at saving money. I really hate to overspend on things, especially the necessities. But thanks to T-Mobile, I don't have to worry about overpaying for wireless service, so I've got more time and money to spend on other things. At T-Mobile, Customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for just $30 a month per line. That's a 45% savings versus Verizon and AT&T. Plus, Scam Shield Premium is included, which means fewer scam calls and more tools to help you optimize and organize your mobile life. Experience all this and more with T-Mobile, America's largest 5G network. Don't miss out. Get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for $30 a month per line at T-Mobile. Visit T-Mobile.com or your local store to make the switch and save.
With auto-pay using debit or bank account plus taxes and fees. 25% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Broker. Plan benefits vary. See details. Capable device required for Scam Shield. Criminal scan block. Might block calls you love. Disable anytime. The Kim Commando Show. Live Saturday mornings at 9. Kello News Talk 1320 107.9.
The Kello Hotline is brought to you by Tires. Your Give You More tire and automotive store. Financing programs available. 2 Sioux Falls locations to serve you.
It's harvest season, and Butler Machinery has the deals you need to get the job done right. From financing on new and used ag equipment to discounts on AGCO parts, Butler Machinery has you covered. Take 10% off AGCO diamond roller chains, filters, and fluids and parts during maintenance inspections now through the end of the year. Visit your nearest Butler location or visit butlermachinery.com. Butler Machinery, your partner in and out of the field.
Okay, some mornings you might not have that get up and go.
Ooh, but at least you can get up and know.
The Greg Belfrage Show, with insightful opinions on the latest stories and frequent weather updates, will get you in the know while you're getting ready to go. Kello News Talk 1320 107.9.
Hey, a quick word from my friends at Washington Crossing. If you're looking for a welcoming, comfortable place to call home, Washington Crossing has some units opening soon. So this is a perfect time to discover a community designed with you in mind. Washington Crossing has a number of spacious living options, daily activities, and a focus on quality dining that adds ease and enjoyment to your day. So whether you're interested in maintaining an active lifestyle or you just want a peaceful setting with support available when you need it, Washington Crossing makes it really simple to live your way. So now's your chance to experience a setting where compassionate staff are available 24/7, providing peace of mind for you and your family. So give them a call today, 605-271-9273. Don't wait. Schedule a personal tour. Learn more about the available units. That's 605-271-9273. Discover why so many call Washington Crossing home. Washington Crossing, life made simple. .638, partly cloudy and 36. Hope you had a great weekend. Today is Veterans Day. It will mean that federal and state offices will be closed today for the Veterans Day holiday. And again, a heartfelt thank you to all those who have served, if you presently serve, those who have served in the past. Many of us appreciate it. This hour of the Greg Belfrage Show brought to you by the Window Shop of Mitchell, offering custom windows starting at $99 a month.
What's trending now?
Add them on Facebook.
Let the tweeting begin. The hashtag does that. News and views from Belf's News Gallery.
Well, Donald Trump reacting to a report that Trump apparently told Vladimir Putin not to escalate the war with Ukraine. According to reports, the two have spoken. But Donald Trump's transition team would not confirm nor deny that Trump had told Vladimir Putin not to escalate the war with Ukraine. They had a call together last week. And the Washington Post reported that they spoke on Thursday. And it was the first conversation then between the two leaders. since Trump won the Oval Office then last week. And now this is from the Washington Post. The two men talked about peace being the goal in Europe. Trump also expressed a desire for further talks on the resolution of Ukraine's war soon. And when they were asked for comment about the report, Trump's team saying, we don't comment on private calls between President Trump and other world leaders. Also, Donald Trump has said, now keep in mind, trending stories are a little bit behind what's actually going on, because the news this morning is that you've got Donald Trump announcing some members of his team. He also sent a message made a proclamation on Truth Social Saturday night. He said, I will not be inviting former Ambassador Nikki Haley or former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo to join the Trump administration. He said, I very much enjoyed and appreciated working with them previously and would like to thank them again for their service to our country. So he's making it very clear that he would not be proposing or appointing Mike Pompeo or Nikki Haley during his second term. Also, the president and Donald Trump will meet Wednesday in the Oval Office. This will be at 10 a.m. Central Time, according to a statement, and we'll learn more about that. The president said late last week, he said that I will direct my entire administration to work with his team to ensure a peaceful and orderly transition. That's what the American people deserve. Meanwhile, with the news that Donald Trump, now the president-elect, there are reports that some migrants who had been headed to the U.S. are abandoning their caravan. And so this was a caravan of about 3,000 people. Half of them turned back. Half of them turned back. And of course, there was a Cuban migrant spoke to Newsweek and said of Donald Trump's victory, this is the end of my dream getting out of Cuba. So Trump has been very clear that mass deportations will take place. And Tom Homan was one of the appointments that Donald Trump then announced over the weekend. And we'll talk more about that. Other stories that are trending this morning. Nick Bosa been fined by the NFL for wearing a hat. He was wearing a Make America Great Again hat. So he was fined over $11,000 for violating the NFL uniform and equipment rules for wearing that hat that contained a personal message. And he, there was another story involving him that I saw this morning. He's out there on the field doing a Trump dance. And he's like, he knew he was going to be fined. He didn't care. So he knew the fine was coming, did not care. I expect we may see more fines from him. Also, Democratic lawmaker Ruben Gallego has won the race for Senate against Carrie Lake. Carrie Lake was the Republican who was winning. So Ruben Gallego has won that race for Senate, according to reports. Also, Kamala Harris' stepdaughter, Ella Emhoff. There were photos of her. She was photographed sobbing as Kamala Harris was giving her concession speech. And so the photos that she's having an emotional outburst. I understand that. I understand that. Apparently, some people didn't, because some were saying she was having a mental breakdown. It was a mental breakdown. And she said on her post on social media, said, truly no words. We're all going to get through this. It just effing hurts right now, and that's okay, she said. And then she said, there's a rumor about me having a mental breakdown and getting checked into a hospital. Not true. Also, blank you if you're out there spreading that. There's nothing wrong with showing emotion and crying. Totally agree with her about this. Anyone who says there is probably needs a good cry, she said on Instagram. Also, other stories trending. Venom 3 topped the box office for the third straight week. So it had that's a pretty big milestone. So The Last Dance has waltzed to the #1 spot at the box office 3 weeks in a row. It's the third and final installment in Sony's Venom series starring Tom Hardy. So it earned, I think, an additional $16 million through the weekend. Also trending this morning, the 49ers' Ricky Pearsall scores his first career NFL touchdown just over 2 months after he was shot in the chest. So he was shot in the chest during a robbery in San Francisco, and then was released from the hospital the next day. So he was kept out of the lineup for the first several weeks of the year. And so now he's scored his first career touchdown. Other sports stories that are trending this morning. The NASCAR world lost one of their legends on Saturday. Bobby Allison has died at the age of 86. So NASCAR released a statement from Allison's family that said he died at home in North Carolina. No cause of death was given, but he was 86 years old and he had been in declining health. And Allison's family said Bobby was the ultimate fans driver. He thoroughly enjoyed spending time with his fans, would stop to sign autographs, and have conversations with him everywhere he went. He was a dedicated family man and friend and a devout Catholic. Other deaths to tell you about. Actor Tony Todd, who's best known for his role in Candyman and Final Destination, has died. You certainly would recognize him if you saw him, Tony Todd. Dead at the age of 69. And his representative said he died peacefully at home. And again, no cause of death was immediately revealed, but his representative said, I'm lucky to have been able to work with this amazing man. I will miss him every single day. All right, other stories that are trending this morning. The Princess of Wales joined the royal family at her first major event since finishing her chemotherapy. So she's been making a gradual return to the public eye after her illness. And she smiled as she entered with Prince William on Saturday evening. Also, Ukraine has launched its largest drone attack on Moscow since the war began in 2022. So Moscow's regional governor called it a massive attack. And several homes had caught fire after the drones fell. And others were injured. He said a 52-year-old woman was in intensive care after she was injured by shrapnel and hospitalized with burns. Russia's Ministry of Defense said it intercepted and destroyed 34 drones over Moscow. A little closer to home, authorities announced an arrest in a mass shooting at Tuskegee University, where at least one person was killed. More than a dozen were hurt in this mass shooting. This was during a celebration of the school's 100th homecoming. A 25-year-old man charged with being in the possession of a machine gun, according to authorities. And he was found leaving the scene of the shooting. 12 students at Salisbury University in Maryland been charged with hate crimes after they allegedly targeted a man over his sexual orientation. They invited him to an off-campus apartment where they beat him, used derogatory names. So now these 12 students, all between the ages of 18 and 21, have been charged with first-degree assault, false imprisonment, reckless endangerment, associated hate crimes as well. It's a story that the charges came late last week. Also, 2 women were arrested on Friday in connection with the murder of a photographer, and the murder was partially live streamed on social media, according to police. So the 2 were taken into custody, and this was following the death of a photographer who was shot and killed Tuesday night outside of a home following an argument. There had been an ongoing feud. So on the night of the shooting, one had allegedly live streamed herself driving to the home of the other to confront her. And investigators say that she saw the live stream and then exited her home carrying a child's baseball bat and a firearm. So the thing just went wild from there. Incredible. Also, this is a Democrat representative from Florida, Jared Moskowitz, was on social media Friday and said that the police had informed him the day before the election about a potential plot against his life. Moskowitz said that authorities nabbed a former felon with a rifle, a suppressor, and body armor near his residence. Moskowitz is Jewish. Said the suspect had a manifesto that included anti-Semitic rhetoric and a target list of 1. Moskowitz was the only name on it. Among other stories that are trending this morning, an 18-year-old New York forest ranger has died while fighting a 2,000-acre wildfire that was burning in New York and New Jersey. So he was among those battling the fire. Officials said that a tree fell on him. And so Governor Kathy Hochul said, "I commend his dedication to serving and protecting his fellow New Yorkers and his bravery on the front lines. My prayers go out to his family, friends, and co-workers during this difficult time." And then finally, Diddy Combs has filed a new request for bail He's arguing that changed circumstances, along with new evidence, mean that he should be allowed to prepare from his trial from outside of jail. So his lawyers filed the request in Manhattan federal court on Friday after his previous request for bail had been rejected by 2 judges since his arrest back in September. So they're saying, Combs' lawyers are saying they're proposing a far more robust bail package that would subject him to strict around-the-clock security monitoring and near total restrictions on his ability to contact anyone but his lawyers. And that's a look at the stories trending this morning in Belf's News Gallery. This hour of the Greg Belfrage Show brought to you by the Window Shop of Mitchell, offering custom windows starting at $99 a month. Currently, clear skies 36. And you're listening to the Greg Belfrage Show on Kello.
And a cell phone to make your mark. Kello News Talk.
Thanks so much for letting me join you this morning. Please come back for the 4th hour, which is at 9:30 here on YouTube. So hope to see you then. Take care. See you again soon.